Friends. I hope continue to be friends after this. No. So basically, I've had something of a bit of a hectic past 24 hours or so, I suppose. Now it's going to get everyone worried, isn't it? Oh God, what's happened? No. Well, possibly not. Good riddance to you. No. Nothing quite as drastic as that. On purpose, by the way. Yeah, nothing as drastic as that. Do you know, I noticed a wagon. Well, I was trying to do anything last night. I noticed a wagon that was derailed over there, and I still didn't touch it. I just noticed it again. Oh dear. I'm about to take them off the track, but this is going to bother me. Stupid, isn't it? That's just put over there as well. Anyway, yes. So last night, about 5 to midnight or so, I ordered myself a Bachmann 9F from TMC 92212, a loco I first saw in 2007. Yeah, wow. And this was a full weathered one. Beautiful thing. Also, I had that and a decoder coming, because as you may notice, channel name's changed. So we are now no longer the Knights Who Say Knee. We are now the Knights Who Say Hardest Hull, BR London Midland region, Christopher. Hardress Hull, yeah, I think I know it's Hardress Hull. Now Hardress Hull, it's the name in the Doomsday book for the village I live in. I did use another one for a Great Western idea I had, which was Arders Heel, which I think was a slightly later version of it or something, but yeah, that's what, in the Doomsday book, that's what this village as I live in was called. So yeah, so do BR London Midland layout, because why London Midland region? Well, basically, as you know, I've always been someone I've always opted for the pre-BR era, wherever possible, because I love my private owner wagons. I like the liveries. I like the more independent identity that is more obvious in, I'll say it that way, it's more obvious in those days, pre-BR. But the thing is, for those who know, who don't hear the thing about me, I suppose, is that I volunteered a local heritage ride for a number of years, and we didn't always have a working steam engine, so I did some work on diesels as well, early diesels as well. And at the time, I had no entrenchment in steam or diesel. I preferred steam. I always will prefer steam, but old diesels, they're cool as well. And of course now my fine chum Greg, who was a diesel driver himself, and he loves steam engines as well, you know, and that sort of thing. But it's yeah, diesels are there, and there are diesels I like. I make no secret, I love the Peaks. I think they're a highly underrated diesel. Yes, okay, they weren't brilliant, but I find it interesting, some of the ones that do get yeah, it was good to see one of them, and poor old Peak doesn't get a look in it. They did sterling work, you know, they might not have been the best, which is why their class didn't continue, but they were decent, you know. And was it not for the fact that 47 was, I think it was overall cheaper to build and operate and that, but there were some engines that were due for one of the Peak versions. I think it might have been the 46s or so, the 45s. One of them was due to get re-engined, but they chose to put those engines into the 47s instead and up their power. The Peak could have carried on. So, you know, the fact that they were considering that shows they weren't as awful as they were. I mean, most of us know about Class 31s, it seems, in how, you know, what was it, an old driver said, you can open the throttle and about 2 weeks later it might move. Yeah, so I do like my old diesels as well. I like an 08 and so on. So I was looking at the standards as well, and you this and that and the other. And it's basically, which region do you want to do? Which region do you want to do? Well, let's pick the things that you'd want. The logos you'd want and so on. And the BR logos I want would be the peaks. Sorry. Sorry, excuse me. It'd be the peaks, the standard 260s, the 9Fs, 5MTs, 4MTs, Tankan, Tender, both varieties of Tender if possible, particularly the 460, so the 5MT Tender engine, and the Britannias. Those are the main ones I'd want. And the only region where all those things came together was the London Midland region. So I kind of dictated that. So that's why, and obviously I'm in the London Midland region, or the Midland region of the London Midland region. How many times can I say that in one go, eh? So that's when I thought, okay, well, here's this 9F. There's a fantastic sale on at the minute. PGTT 120 put it out, word out there for the TMC, as he calls it, and now I've started calling it the TMC without thinking. the model centre, but I like it. Start saying the Asda. Brilliant sale going on there, an extra 10% off some already discounted products, and it brought the 9F into a very, very reasonable price bracket. So I picked it up with the DCC decoder. But anyway, through the course of today, and as anyone who's followed this channel for any amount of time will know, over the past year or so, I've had a will they won't they relationship with TT120, and some really good advice from a very trusted friend of mine, and I know there's a whole thing about you. At the minute, you're very much in Hornby's pocket. I understand from what I hear on the grapevine that other manufacturers are looking at coming in more, which would be great, needed. So I said, apart from being in Hornby's pocket, is there anything else I'm missing and I've forgotten? We've spoken about it before. Really sorry about that. And they just said, need some more support, that might come one day. At the moment, it's not easy to put them together in the scale, and can't rely on future promises unless they turn out like the Dapol Bullied Pacifics, which obviously are now. The Pacifics are on their way, but what he's alluding to there is I built a layout many years ago called Withered. It was what I would call the last successful British Engage layout I ever made. It did a whole load of things wrong, but it worked. It carried on going for a long time. We used the foam track underlay ballast type stuff. It was all set track points, I believe, but it worked. The locos I ran on it were fine, and I was looking forward to Dapol's upcoming Bullied Pacifics. They were announced a week or so after I started the project, which was like, oh my god, this is amazing! I've just started the Southern Region layout, and Bullied Pacifics are on. New ones are on their way. Wonderful. And they took ages and ages and ages to come along, and then when they seemed to go really quiet, so I asked her a couple of shows. I was told they're not doing anymore, they've been shelved, or we might not come back to it. And then obviously now they've been fully redesigned. It's taken more time. They're still not out yet, and I hope they'll be worth it when they do come. But the thing I take, and I totally get his point, and at the time I said, that is very true, thanks, sorry for being thick again, which is all genuine, because I hate the fact that my memory is the way it is at the minute. It seems to be I can only put it down to stress, anxiety and depression, because I know those things do affect your brain, plus other things I'm waiting to be tested for, which I think are fairly obvious on their own anyway. Check out the mount, I'm not looking at the camera. Which also know affects your memory and stuff, but the it's not being thicky, sorry, it's very, very kind person, this person is. And the only thing I can think of now is, well, actually, but they are coming now. It's about that patience, I guess, and being able to put up with that. Can I do it? Well, this is where during the British Railways era comes into its own. When I dabbled with TT120 last time, I looked at, because guess what? I looked at doing the LMS, or wanted to do Great Western, but obviously there's next to no Great Western stuff out there. But during the British Railways era, you get the diesels as well. And there's a Class 37 due out in November, the Class 08's kicking around as well. I don't need a blue one. I'll be looking for BR green because I wanted to fit my steamers, because the steam has to be the main focus to them. And yeah, I started that thinking. I've been watching videos on N-Gauge today, I've been watching videos on 00 gauge today, 009, different channels. So I've watched Ian's N-Gauge, I've watched Western Signalman's 009 latest update, I've watched, I'm trying to think of the 00 channel I've watched now. Apologies, the name escapes me, but I should have left a comment so you will know who you are if you're watching this. And then I watched the interview, and I'm going to have to rewatch it because I missed some of it due to a noisy engine on Train Sim. Max Model's 120th episode, which was a fantastic interview, chat with Peachy and with Martin. Oh my god, I'll tell you what. Yeah, memory thing I was talking about. Shedmouth Junction. It's a chap at Shedmouth Junction, yes, we'll go with that. Seems to call Chris Peachy anyway. Yeah, Shedmouth Junction chap. And they had a general chat about this and the other, and Shedmouth Junction said if there was more southern region stuff, he'd be all over it. And Peachy just said, keep the faith, as it were, which is what he essentially said to me last year at Getz when I was talking to him about pannier tanks, particularly pannier tanks. And yes, so that really, my brain had already been thinking about TT throughout the day, because I know I was looking at the track I've got set up here and thinking a 9F's going to be enormous, and that really is going to be enormous. Even when I get I've got some big boards downstairs, as some people may know, ready to go in here once we've had the windows sorted and everything, because there's no point in doing an awful lot in here till they're sorted, because they're going to need a meter around this, and I need to put the computer somewhere where it's going to be safe and all the rest of it as well. So whatever goes in here has to be movable. Exhibition now, eh? But it has to be movable, so there's no point getting my nice new boards I paid a lot of money for, that are custom fitted to this area, to put them in yet, because they'll get ruined, or potentially ruined. You know, they'll have to lean on them to get, or kneel on them to get it. I don't want them to be broken, and it's just a whole load of hassle that can be avoided, so let's do it. Let's avoid it. Yeah, sorry, this is an awful lot of me wittering on again, but hey, sometimes it's needed. This is the planning stages, isn't it? I think it's exciting though, folks. It's exciting. But the kids outside having a fun time. Yes, I was looking at so even with that big board, a 9F's still going to be a big engine. You know, it's not going to be as big as the Princess Coro. That's something that's always messed with my mind. The big 210 is actually slightly shorter than the Princess Coronation Pacific, but hey. But on my side, then to turn to obviously future spaces that will become available to me, and even then, is it going to be tail chasing? I'm thinking about to a relative's layout, which is in an external garage, which has got a lot of space, but the 9F he's got on a decent train is tail chasing still, and I'm thinking, God. So I'm trying to future-proof myself. I'm trying to future-proof myself a bit in that regard. And yes, I started thinking about Engage again. After watching Shelvington, I started writing a list of all the things that you can't get, that you can double O. Now on this list, you can't get that. You can't get any of those. None of those in TT. In fact, the only London Midland region steam engine is still the Duchess Princess of Coronation. Yeah. So it's okay, big decisions to be made, which is why I'm glad that there's the diesels, and it might well just be a case of keeping the faith. What I will be doing is I will be killing off a load of pre-orders that I've got. I'm going to go through my list of pre-orders, kill off the ones, actually including my Kuroshiwa Panny tanks. I know. But that money could be better invested into TT. I'm going to set myself a challenge, because looking at the size of these wagons and looking at the layout space over there for what is the happiness line, potentially could get a shunting puzzle onto one of those in time for the show at Severn Valley, because obviously the happiness line is out of commission. But not going to push myself for that one, we'll see. But what I am going to do is I'm going to reinvest the money out from the 9F. I managed to call the TMC today and very helpfully sorted it all out. In fact, I've seen the email come through while I've been chatting to you folks about the refund's on its way already, and as promised I will reinvest that in a TT set. And I think the best way to get going is to jump in straight away with something that will get me running, and as Dale did when he started with Engage, it might just be a straight piece of track that'll go up and down. I've got a piece of Lexi I can go and fetch, straight bit of track I go up and down with, but it's something that I can get running and I can see a train move. Because I think I worked out the loop is just, the train set loop it comes with is just slightly too wide for this board. Now, depending on how slightly is slightly, I might be able to sort something out. But I think it's just slightly too wide. Essentially what I'd think would be, if I can put books out, if it's like, say, if that's the end of the current board, if it sticks out to like there, if I can put books mostly on the board, so if this is the end of the board, if I can put stuff mostly on the board like that, so most of the weight's supported by the board, but it just keeps the track up, I'll give it a go. Because it's not going to be enormous amounts of weight pushing down on it just to when the train goes over. If I can get the circuit up, I'll get the circuit up basically. But if not, I'll run up and down. But I'm going to look at getting the Easterner train set, which comes with an A4 Pacific and 3 Mark 1 coaches. This is the analogue one, they don't have the digital one in stock. But yeah, that's the one I'm going to go for. Yes, it's an A4. It's not London Midland region, and it's also one of my least favourite types of A4. It's named after a person, but I think the ultimate plan would be with it is to send it, either do it myself or send it off back to the TMC as a loco on its own, and say, can this be changed to Merlin please, because it's got a double chimney lake crest. In my book of A4s, Merlin, by the time it had its double chimney, was lake crest, would be perfect. That's my favourite A4. It's a Rail Tour engine then. But for now, William Whitelaw will be puffing up and down here. I could probably do it myself to be fair, but be puffing up and down here with its 3 Mark 1s or 2 wagons, or 3 Mark 1s and 2 wagons, because hey, why not? But it'll be something moving on analog as well. There'll be something moving I can just get myself going with. Keep those juices flowing. That's critical now, I think, because basically I say I gave myself an ultimatum: is if I do this, I do this properly. and I have to weather the naysayers. I have to weather all sorts of other things. Now, I've done it with the Japanese before. I've weathered rubbish. I guess it's really hit me hard sometimes, and I've had to take a break. I've sounded a bit more doom and gloomy about it at the time, but you know, there's a collection behind me. You can still see it up there, and that's only part of it. So the rest of it's actually gone into storage out of the way because I don't need all of it out. But yeah, so, and it's come to the crunch time where it is basically when you look at it and you look at the fact that 1.5 TT wagons is one 00 wagon. The space saving makes so much sense, and you imagine on that bigger board just what I'll be able to try and do on here, even if it is still a branch line terminus, and I have the bigger one out there. It's going to be something else. I mean, also I'd like to get these all fitted with sound, make full use of the HM7000 app with the sterilizer, all the rest of it. But for now, an analog A4 will be my entry into the world of TT. So 00, what am I going to be killing off? Well, basically I'm killing off all the mainline engines on order. My Saint, yeah, I know, right? Killing off the Saint, the County, the S160, basically yeah, anything that's mainline. Anything industrial is staying on. Because one, that's a bit of a peace offering. Two, none of this is going anywhere. You know, my CCR bits I got the other day, they're staying. But also, I very much want to do Forgotten Pit Road Mark II, which I've got ideas will be sort of kept over here, maybe a corner unit on the side. So I want my desk to be here ultimately, but like a corner unit to the side, and that's where Forgotten Pit Road 2 Mark II can sit. That has to be 00. I've got a fantastic collection of industrial engines. It took ages for us to get that in 00. I really doubt it's going to be there in TT. And it gives me a chance to use all those wonderful private owner wagons I've got on order. So yes, it's just the mainline stuff, and that's again the SECR wagons I ordered recently. They're staying on as well for now. No, they are staying on for now because, yeah, you know. But that's it. That's what I say. It has to be done sensibly, and there's money. Like with my Kurosaki panniers not being included anymore, there's money there that then can be reinvested into TT120. I could get a Princess Coronation sorted out. I think there's actually one available with digital sound already fitted to it, which is Duchess of Montrose. I don't know if they've got that on TMC. Right, the phone's just in the way. Come on, if they've got Dutch Montrose in stock on here, sound fitted. They have sound fitted. You see, that's 250, with sound has been weathered as well. But I could pay to have a Stairlife fitted and, you know, go all out on one and have it as City of Birmingham, done as City of Birmingham if I wanted to, which would be a nice like for like on my 00 City of Birmingham, which of course is a streamlined one. But yeah, so yes, so 009 Trench Railway, Engage Japan, the Japanese trains, 00 gauge Forgotten Pit Road, TT120 is Hadras Hull, beyond the Midland region, which is going to be the main thrust now. So, I know. Yeah, look, I'll show you some wagons. I'll show you some wagons, but look, leave to drop them straight away. There you go, you see some trains. You see one moving on its own as well. I mean, obviously I had to have this one. But yeah. But now, I will happily call myself a TT120 modeler the minute I click buy. So next time I speak to you, that will have been done. All right. So there might not be, shouldn't be a video tomorrow. Hopefully, I can't imagine because the load manager is going to turn up overnight. So yes, next time you see a video from me should be stat fold, which I'm looking forward to immensely. Right. So see you there. I'll speak to you there, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.